I did do that a couple times, though.
You son of a bitch.
Yeah. Everybody does that, Matt. Don't lie.
No, that is bullshit. That is bullshit.
Matt, why do you think you have the Star Road? It's supposed to be making so that you can travel between each part of the level quickly.
All right, Nick, what beverage did you bring tonight?
I'm staying classy with a good old PBI. That's a Pabst Blue Ribbon there, bub.
How many are you in?
Just one.
I can't wait till we get to John, because I think John's had about 12.
Maybe.
Okay. So, John, before you tell us your beverage of choice, let us know, are you still drinking fermented goat milk?
So that was a Trader Joe's splurge right there. I'm glad you remembered that. That made me chuckle. Also made me fart really bad. So I put that on the shelf for a while. And I am back to the very budget-friendly beverage of boxed red wine. I hope you can hear the sound effect of me squeezing the bag and trickling.
Slap that belly. Slap that belly.
I want him to slap that, just cover that office space we're recording in wine. Man, that's probably a podcast first. I don't know anyone that drinks boxed wine on podcasts.
It is not bad, I gotta say. Although, from my humble beginnings as a alcohol consumer of Orloff vodka and Gatorade. And what else did we do? Sprite, yes.
Yeah, you put Sprite with everything.
You know, it masks a lot of the terrible shit. It does well.
There's nothing. I miss the days of college where you could go and buy, spend $40 or $30 to buy some shitty Orloff or Pop Off out of some person's trunk because you can't get it on your own. Those were
never
the
had
days.
to do that.
The markup was insane with those people. You do.
You got to pay for the risk.
Wow, you didn't have a guy or a friend that was old enough to buy you booze?
Well, I did, but the challenge was he was always shit-faced when I needed him to buy stuff, so it didn't work.
That's, I guess, one of the pleasures I had working with people that range from all the age of 16 to 60 years old. So they're like, yeah, here you go. So I was 19 years old, my first job as a dishwasher. I went to a New Year's party and literally I bought like whatever that cost was for a bottle of booze, and that was what it is. So I didn't get charged anything extra.
All right.
There you go.
So, John, you're drinking some box wine. Nick, you got a PBR. I think I win the award for fanciest.
We drank it, bud.
What you got tonight, man?
I went with a Baxter, but I didn't go with a Stowaway, and I didn't go with a Pomola.
Huh?
I'm trying something different.
What you got?
It's an Einstein. It's a brilliant lager is what they call it.
How does it taste?
It's okay. It's good, but it's not. I wouldn't write home about it. It's tasty. It's kind of like a cookout beer.
That's how I feel. Yeah, that's how I feel about Baxter as a whole. They're okay.
I love Baxter. They're kind of my go-to. They don't have a bad beer that I know of.
Yeah. We do Shipyard for our go-to.
Yeah, Shipyard's good. Sebago's good.
Yeah, next time you come down, man, I got two to take you to that'll blow you away.
Which ones?
Battery Steel and Good Fire.
Huh? I haven't heard either of those. All right, so let's get into games, or we could just sit here and get shit-faced all night, or both, either or. Nick, I'll start with you. What are you currently playing, and have you had any recent pickups?
So, I have had two recent pickups. Actually, technically 2.5, we'll say. So, yesterday, I got two games. Yeah, Mortal Kombat 2 came in the mail that I went on eBay. And also, a old friend that I used to work with at a previous job was selling some of his Super NES games, and I got Mortal Kombat 3. I say 2.5 because I also got a joypad with it as well. And I think out of both games, I only paid maybe $27 for everything.
For the games and the controller? That's not bad. Not a bad gig.
I think like $8.50 for Mortal Kombat 2 with $3.99 shipping, and then $15 for the Mortal Kombat 3 with the gamepad.
So, John, just so you know, we were worried that you weren't going to make it tonight. So Nick and I were making plans, like what would happen, because obviously Super Mario World's got to be one that you're involved in. Like, what are we going to do if we have to go more weeks without John? So we talked about maybe us diving into Mortal Kombat. That was our backup plan for tonight.
I loved it. That's a game I played the most actually growing up. Though I didn't play when Mortal Kombat hit. I didn't play after Trilogy though, because I thought everything in between Trilogy and when it hit the Xbox 360 was garbage. The graphics look horrible. The gameplay was just rough.
No, Deadly Alliance. You didn't like Deadly Alliance?
It was horrible. Absolutely horrible. The games didn't play like I wanted to.
I mean, I'll give you Mortal Kombat 4. That game sucked awful, but yeah, I don't know. We'll save that for another one.
I think I went as far as 2. And I played, last time I played was you in college in 2007, and you beat me like 3 games straight, and then I threw a hissy fit and walked away.
That's the standard.
Yeah, that's
our life.
You've dissuaded me from so many video games just because you kicked my ass at them. I'm just like, nope.
Well, I had the ultimate Mortal Kombat for SNES, and if you play as Noob, he's cheap. He is the cheapest character on that game.
I recall.
So, John, have you been playing anything lately, or are you still
laying low a little bit? So we went out to my camp for vacation, and I thought it would be cool because Nick graciously left his Genesis controller that's one of those plug-and-plays, and I went to start it up, but the batteries were dead, and then I went to take the battery compartment off, but it had corroded and the screw was stripped. So I think that we have to say goodbye to that friendly gift. Oh, I did try to play my Game Boy Color, and I got, 30 minutes into Metroid and about 5 minutes into Castlevania Adventure, and that game sucks. That game is so bad. Oh man, it was brutal. The controls were laggy. The just timing of it was not fun. And I'm good. I'm done. That's it. I can sell that for something.
The only Castlevania game I actually played was on Advance, I think.
Yeah, which one did you play on the GBA?
I played, I want to say the second one.
Yep.
That one was pretty good. That one was actually really good. I never actually owned it. My cousin owned it. And I actually played a lot when I first got shot in the eye and lost my vision. So I actually played that because he's like, hey, here's my Game Boy Advance, and here's my games I used to play it. I'm like, okay, cool. So I played the crap out of it, and I actually liked it.
If it makes you feel better, had you had the first Castlevania for GBA, you would have seen that as well as everyone else playing it, because it was impossible to see. It was the darkest fucking game. Whatever colors they picked, and the fact that the GBA wasn't backlit, you couldn't see shit in the first Castlevania. It was awful.
Yeah, I think I actually played this one not on an actual GBA, the first gen. I played it on an SP, so I had backlit screens. So I always played it on my cousin's SP.
Got it. Well, I've had a couple pickups. Nikki told me I needed to slow down, but whatever. I've been Xbox hunting lately. Old school Xbox games are dirt cheap. They're like $4 a disc. So I bought Crimson Skies. I bought Halo 2. I bought the Sega GT Jet Set Radio Future combo. I don't care about the racing game, but Jet Set Radio is awesome. And then I bought Beautiful Joe for GameCube.
So how much do you ultimately spend for all of that?
I don't know. It's tough to say because like Beautiful Joe, I want to say I paid $10 for that, and the other ones no more than like $4 a piece.
Even probably what's the average out with everything you spend? Maybe max $30.
Yeah. I try to keep it. I don't try to spend a ton.
But she can't really get after you. I mean, you of all people don't spend much money, so
I think she's accustomed to me being so cheap.
I mean, if $30 is going out blowing money, I'm like, good lord, shit. I pay $50 of gas on every week and a half.
Yeah,
but you got to pay gas.
Yeah, but at the same time, you're investing, Matt. You're investing.
That's right. This is an investment. Definitely the GameCube one is. I got that one for a steal. That one normally goes for more. I was reminded of one thing about that though. I really hate the GameCube controller. I know there's people.
I like it.
There's people. Yeah, you're one of them. There's people out there that love it. I hate it. I don't get it.
No, the C-stick is all janky, man. I agree with you.
What I like about controls and what made me love the controls, I think, was playing Spider-Man 2 on GameCube.
And that worked? Like that? I mean, it worked, but that
it felt normal. Right? It felt really good, and it played very well. That's actually my favorite, probably, superhero movie video game to date. Yeah, to date. Say for movie games, that's probably the best.
I don't get Nintendo's controller design logic. If I'm going to crab about Nintendo about one thing, it's like we're going to have the NES controller, simple, not really that comfortable, but pretty good. Then you're going to have the Super Nintendo, which is the perfect layout. It's got the diamond-shaped buttons, great D-pad, the shoulder buttons are excellent. And then they're like, fuck it. You know what? We're going to do this N64 controller that makes no sense to anyone. I mean, you guys saw the thing I sent you earlier about having 3 hands to play.
Yeah, that's funny.
Have you seen there's an image about how a pro plays using that controller and how an amateur plays?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I'm an amateur. But then, they get to the GameCube, and it's like, what? All right, so clearly the diamond shape was the way to go, because Sony copied it. And then on the 64, you kind of did this almost Sega, but almost NES kind of thing with the C buttons. So then they get to the GameCube and they're like, you know what? We're going to have these kidney-shaped buttons and then this giant fucking button in the middle. And we're going to have a small dot button right over uncomfortably, off on the side. And we're going to have one Z button. We're not even going to have dual buttons. We're going to have one, the most uncomfortable to reach Z button. And then we're going to have these 2 triggers with the longest trigger pull ever. I don't get it. That's my rant.
The Z button is needed when you're playing Ocarina of Time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but give us 2 Z buttons. Why can't we have dual Z buttons? They kind of learn when they've done the newer controllers.
Sounds like first world problems for
I'm not. It is too. Yeah. Oh, I have this wave bird that's pissing me off. So yeah, I've been playing some. The one that I'm playing a lot of is Jet Set Radio Future. What a great game! Not really retro. I mean, John and I were talking last time. We kind of said, Xbox probably not retro. You probably would say it is retro, so I'm on the line. But
I think
what a great game!
My stop off for retro.
Yeah, that's what we figured. That's why we forged ahead without you and made all these decisions. Mario World? Want to jump in? So, Nick, we'll start with you. Do you remember when this came out?
Yeah, it was break of the 90s. Actually, I think it came out in 1990.
And I just spent a long time editing all the audio, and I didn't pay attention to a single thing you said last time. Did you have a Super Nintendo? Did you get it when it came out?
I had a Super Nintendo. I don't think I got it when it came out. I think I had it a couple of years later, 1992. I think we had one in our house. I think 1992 is when we had it, and I didn't have it. My parents had the had the Super Nintendo because my mom used to play the hell out of Link to the Past. So yeah, had one, loved it.
Yeah.
I actually never owned Super Mario World though.
John, how about you? Do you remember this?
Yeah, I didn't get it when it came out. But I think the Super Nintendo came out in 91.
Sounds about right. I think so.
And I definitely got it. Yeah, I think I got it in first grade.
1990.
92.
It came out 19... Well, no. It came in Japan 1990. Because Super Mario World would have had to have come out in 91 for us because it was a pack-in game and it was released in North America in August of 91. Look at this. I did research. You should see all the shit in front of me.
There's a first for a Frenchman.
Yeah, I got it as the package deal. I remember my parents got it for me. My mom protested, and my dad was like, he's getting good grades, he's fine.
Woman, let that boy have his game. So I don't remember when this game came out, and I got it when it came out. I remember I got my Super Nintendo for Christmas that year, but I don't remember. This game is one of those games that it's always been around. I don't really remember not having it around, as crazy as that sounds. The reason why I picked this as our start-off game is, A, it's easy for us to get a hold of. John, I know you and I had it on, we have it first Super Nintendo, so that's what we played it on. Nick, you got it on your 3DS.
Yeah, I got it for my 3DS, and it played a little bit differently.
Really?
And I say it played differently because I wasn't using a gamepad and looking at a screen. So it was just like playing pretty much a handheld version of it. So timing was a little bit different, but everything, they didn't physically change anything. There was no okay, take this out or make exceptions on this. It's the same exact game, just played on a different format or a different platform. And it was played well. I mean, I zoomed through it. I probably beat the actual game with actual timing. Probably took me 6 hours to get through everything.
Yeah, that sounds about right. One of the things I like about this game, if I had to compare Super Mario World to a movie, it would be like The Shawshank Redemption. It's one of those things you never think of, but if it's on TV, it's like,
go with this, please.
I'm going to watch this. This is a great movie. And every time it's on, you're like, oh, I got to watch The Shawshank Redemption. This is a great movie. But if someone said, hey, make a list of your favorite movies, you're never going to remember The Shawshank Redemption. That's kind of like Super Mario World to me. I'm never going to remember that if I was to make a list, but when it's in front of me, it's like, oh my God, why wouldn't I think of this game? Like, this is such a great game.
See, I always remember, I actually have the most fondest memories because even though I didn't own it, I had cousins and friends that always owned it, and we always played it when we went over. Like, it was one of those go-to games, like, you play, like, okay, let's see how far we can run through. And I remember my fondest memory was actually my cousin unlocked the Star World, or Star Road, for the first time.
That's a good feeling.
I'm like, oh, this is cool. Blue Yoshi, awesome. Yellow Yoshi, awesome. And Red Yoshi, useless. The useless one.
You ate the shell and you turned it into fire. Now I'm fucked. Useless.
And Blue Yoshi, this was the first game also to introduce Yoshi as well. So it was leaps and bounds. It was like, awesome, this is cool, this is nice. It's like a extra playable character within the game.
I'll give Nintendo credit, especially Miyamoto. When they come up with an idea, they will hold on to that idea forever. Forever. They originally wanted to have Yoshi in the original Mario Brothers, and they couldn't do it. They couldn't do it on the NES.
Yeah, was it, hardware and software they said at the time?
Yeah, allegedly. I mean, by the time Super Mario 3 came out, I think they could have figured it out. I mean, they had Adventure Island, had a rideable dinosaur, and Little Nemo. You can ride all the different animals. So they could have done it, but I know initially they wanted to do it, couldn't do it, and he kept the drawing of it on his desk for like 5 years. So when they came around to this one, they're like, "Yep, we're gonna do it. We're gonna make this happen," which is pretty incredible.
I do have qualms with the game. I will say that though.
What do you got for problems?
And John brought this up, I think, in one of our conversations is when all the other games you used to depower back to the one you were originally. So, say if you had firepower, you would go directly straight to just big. Then if you got hit again, you would go to small.
So yes and no. Yes and no. Original Mario, you would go right back down. And then in Mario 3, they added it in that you would drop the one before it. In America. In the Japanese one, you went back. I guess that at that time they figured we just sucked at games. They made it easier for us. Yeah, I Googled that after you said that last time. But yeah, you do drop back. Sorry. Just jumping in.
No, thank you. But I mean, I like that feature. I think as a stupid American playing video games, I think that was a good feature. It was like, okay, cool. I go back to original. It was kind of like having an extra kind of life, in a sense.
Yeah. I think they made up for it, though, with I don't know what they call it, and I actually have my Mario instruction manual here, so I can look it up. But we always call it the can. It's like, oh, I've got a fire flower in the can. Oh, I got hit. Here comes the fire flower. Now I have the fire flower. I think they made it a little easier that you have that. You always have a backup item if you're.
Yeah, but that backup item had to like drift down. So if you if you got hit, okay, so I had problems with it. So there's one level, I want to say we're on Dinosaur Island, And there's one where you have to just go and you're just jumping to each thing. So you have to jump to one, to another, and there's no actual ground. And I flew from the beginning, and I was trying to fly the whole thing, like float through it. I ended up hitting one of the darn piranha plants that came out. And because I hit it, it dropped the other feather, and I died. So then I had to backtrack all the way back to a level where I could easily get the feather and do it twice in a row, and then do the start, select, and back out thing, and then travel all the way back to that level just to finish that.
You are not one of those people. Please tell me you are not one of those people that goes back to Top Secret and like, oh, no. I'm gonna go all the way from the Valley of Bowser all the way back to the fucking overworld, back to the secret thing, just to get a Yoshi and a flower. You are not that guy, are you?
No, I went to whatever level was easiest.
Okay, thank God. I have a whole rant planned for that.
Well, I did do that a couple times though.
You son of a bitch!
Yeah. Everybody does that, Matt. Don't lie.
No, that is bullshit. That is bullshit.
Matt, why do you think you have the Star Road? It's supposed to be making so that you can travel between each part of the level quickly.
Yeah, but it's not quick if you got to go through the whole game, get back that one level up.
If you're Bowser Valley and you unlocked all of Star Road, you easily hit the star that's right next to Bowser's castle. Book over to there, and you're there within like 3 moves.
I'm so mad at you right now. You might as well have told me that you're the guy that plays the entire game without holding down the run button. He's walking along. It's like, oh my God, you're going to run out of time. I've never seen anyone run out of time in a Mario level. What are you doing?
I have. I've done it twice.
Did you go take a shit and come back, or?
No, I kept on running out of time on a fucking castle. It was only a castle that happened. So I was trying to get there's the one where you have like, I think like 6 or 10 lives at the other end of the level, at the end of the castle. And I kept on trying to make that. And I kept like, fuck.
The Forest of Illusion, the fortress, where you do you fly and spin jump and you bounce off all the flames.
Oh, I don't do that.
What?
I fly through the whole thing. I float through the whole thing.
Wait, so you don't do the flying spin jump? You like legit did the back and forth thing?
Yeah.
Oof.
Holy shit.
I'm a master at it.
Holy shit. I didn't think that was even possible.
I did it every time I did it. That's how only way I could do it.
You need to catches those thermals. Right,
you need to submit that to Nintendo because I guarantee the designers are like, we never fucking planned for this. This is incredible.
Yeah, I've actually floated through 4 levels doing that.
Nice.
Not the easy ones too, like the ones like at the further in the game. I just float through the whole thing.
I have a whole agenda planned for this podcast, and I'm gonna rip it up because I'm so dumbfounded that can even happen. Like, nope. Fuck the history of Mario that I spent like a day researching. Fuck that. It's out the window. Nick can fly through all those fucking flames without spin jumping.
How about this, Matt? Do you want me to also show you me doing it?
Yeah, can I get a video of that?
I'll see. What it's a fortress. Yeah, I'll do it because it's that one where instead of going through a door, you can keep on going past.
Yeah,
and you can just I can fly that one whole thing.
No, you flying spin jumping. You just keep bouncing.
Fly and float, baby.
All right, so we're going to jump ahead then. When you're on I think it's the butter bridge. It's either butter or cheese, but whatever one you have to go at the end in order to get down into Soda Lake, do you jump off Yoshi or do you fly under that?
Oh, I think I did it twice. I both suicided him and I flew it too.
Okay, because I can do that segment with a cape with my eyes closed. I've done it so many times I feel it. But
is that the one where you have to fly under?
Yeah, you go under the goal. But I was
there's a couple levels that are like that though, aren't there?
Nah, just that. That's the one. I was hoping Nick would be like, no, I have to use Yoshi on that one. Flying's impossible. When you just got done telling me the most incredible flying thing that's ever been done.
No, I think I'm pretty sure I've done both. I think with that one because I had Yoshi, I'm like, I'll just do it this way. So I just suicide him, but I can do that one both ways. I'll double check tonight. I'll see if I can video it. I'll pop up my 3DS and I'll record it with my phone and I'll send it to you, okay?
Okay. You know what? I'm fucking blown away. We got to get into the history at some point, but I can't even think. I don't even know how someone does that. All right. So, development. Do you guys know any of the background of Super Mario World?
Well, I know originally they imported Mario 3 and they were going to try to build off that.
Yeah.
Then Miyamoto said no. And he's like, this is crap. Let's just start from scratch. Because the new hardware and new software was going to be what they needed to make the game great.
Yeah, and what blows my mind about that is they had a demo of it, or they have a beta version that was released. You can see the screenshots of it. Mario still had his raccoon tail. There's a couple other things that were still, the Goombas were the same. They had a sprite for a Hammer Brother. They had a couple things. So yeah, they started with Mario 3 and like, nope, fuck this, we're doing something different. Which is pretty incredible. They ported the whole thing over. I know the Super Nintendo was kind of a challenge. They wanted to make it backwards compatible and they couldn't do it. But in this case, they're like, no, we're going to port this whole thing over.
I'm surprised they couldn't like make attachment, how Sega kind of did with make an attachment for Sega CD.
Yeah, I thought I'd read somewhere that the hardware is somewhat similar because they kind of shot themselves in the foot. That's why they had to rely on chips so much. Someone's going to correct me, on this later on. I thought that the way they set it up, they had a bunch of bottlenecks. And the reason why is because they were designing it like an NES, I thought. Yeah. Mm. So development started on this in 1988 is what a couple things that I'd read. Pretty much right after Super Mario 3 came out in Japan. We didn't get Mario 3 until 1990, which is incredible. They waited 2 years to bring that over.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, they were still making Nintendo games when Super Nintendo came out.
Yeah, I think the thing that they tried to do is over here, they had Lost Worlds as their Mario 2. We had the different version, the Doki Doki Panic version, and I think they tried to give it more time on the market to make money. So they held off Mario 3 for 2 years just to give Mario 2 enough time to make back its money. I think.
Yeah. Yeah, because that was, like you said, the original Mario 2 was the lost level for them because when they're like, well, this is too hard. And if anyone has played Lost Levels, it is a bitch of a game.
Yeah, that is not fun.
Have you seen, not the Super Mario All-Stars, but have you seen the original the Famicom Disk System version of it?
No. Oh, well, yes, I have. Like YouTube.
It looks kind of like a bad fan game, I'll be honest with you.
Did we play that in college? I think we must have, yeah.
Oh, we had to have. I did like the blowing leaves part of it. That was kind of cool. All right, ready to have your mind blown on another thing?
What you got?
What?
So I was reading around. The numbers that I have kind of vary. I read a couple different things, but there were between 10 and 16 people on the team. Can you imagine making this game with only that few people?
Wow.
Well, I mean, at the time as well, is those people also made really good money too. They were gods amongst the world.
I mean,
because they're the only ones that could do the job. Because at that point, there was not much of schools of training of how to code and how to design.
Yeah, part of me though thinks they were treated like shit. Just because at that time people didn't respect games; they were kids' toys, right? I mean, wouldn't they?
Well, didn't they fix that with? Well, didn't Japan try to be like, well, we need to sell this. How are we going to sell this? So they renamed it instead of Super Nintendo Game System and Super Nintendo Entertainment System.
Yeah, on the NES. Yeah, that's why we got the toaster. They got the top loader.
I love the top loader.
Yeah, the top loader, if you can get it modded, is the way to go. So, some name drops. Ready for this? Miyamoto, obviously, the producer on this one, because he's the original Mario guy. But this isn't really a Miyamoto game. We kind of have this ridiculous idea that Miyamoto is this guy he's this happy little guy that works in Nintendo and he just like ships out games for everyone to play. Takashi Tezuka was the director on this one, throwing out names for you. He's the guy that did Link to the Past. He did Yoshi's Island. I mean, he's been with them right up through.
Didn't Miyamoto have to do with something with the Pokemon games now too?
I don't know. That's Game Freak. My last name drop for you guys, Koji Kondo did the music, and he did the music for pretty much anything. Like if you go and you Google his repertoire with all the NES games and Super Nintendo games, I mean, there's nothing that the guy didn't have his hands in. We'd be here all night.
They were the MIDI masters right there.
Yeah, and I guess he thought it was a challenge initially to make the sounds for this, to make the audio for this, because NES was just chips. I mean, it was just chip tunes. This was samples. Sony made the chip in the Super Nintendo, and it's all sample based. So if he wanted a sound in there, he had to go out and get the sample for it. They did have some limitations on this one that caused some troubles. A, it's new hardware. B, they kind of set their own limitation in that they didn't want all the new stuff the Super Nintendo could do to overwhelm them. Like they didn't want to be, in your face, flashy with all the crazy shit they could do in the Super Nintendo. So it's very understated, maybe is the word I want to use. And the other thing, I mean, they didn't do a ton of rotations. Your Koopa people, when you kill them, they rotate, and I don't know, they didn't go crazy.
Didn't Pilot Wings kind of like flex the graphics muscle at first? Because I remember that was one of those games that came out with the original release. Yeah.
Yeah, that and F-Zero did Mode 7, Mario Kart. Yeah, because this one didn't have any special chips. They didn't do anything crazy with it.
I like it better. I like Mario World better than those. I mean, initially, I think that the linear stuff flowed better, and I wasn't used to the other stuff yet, so probably that's why. But, I mean...
Yeah, they didn't have the power to do a lot of the 3D stuff that they tried to do on it with the chips. I mean, even if you go back and play Star Fox, which I love the original Star Fox. I actually think it's better than 64. But yeah, go back and play Star Fox. It's like 10 frames per second. It's painful.
That game was difficult to play.
I think the big reason why I like it more is because the music in the Super Nintendo Star Fox, a million times better than the 64 one. The 64 had just shit music. My last thing on the development, and then we can get into the game itself, let you guys run with it because I'm tired of talking. Miyamoto actually deemed the game unfinished.
Really?
Yeah, to this day, it's his favorite Mario game, but he still feels it's unfinished. They had a bazillion unused ideas in this game. And actually, if you go through the images, the sprites in the ROM data, they had, I guess there was going to be a Koopaling that could appear on the map and drag you into a level, kind of like the hands in Mario 3. And they had this other thing. It was like a bird cage level. And I have no idea how it works, but basically you're in a cage the whole level, and these birds are flying the cage around.
That sounds good.
Yeah, they had a bunch of stuff. I would have liked to have seen them, include 4 more levels. Just 4 more exits.
Why is that?
Because, so we'll get into the exits later, but why 96?
Your biggest pet peeve ever.
Why not make it 100? We're programmed to think 100%. Why 96?
So I did read somewhere that they had 75 levels, right?
Yeah.
So that's a somewhat reasonable number, even number for people to retain. But the 96 was the exits.
Yeah.
So some levels had more than one. So I feel like 75, yeah, that's justified. And then you got to intertwine them. So, I mean, you could have done a little tweak here or there.
But 4 more exits.
Yeah.
Just make it 100.
I had to find that out too, because after you brought it up, I was like, oh yeah, that's weird. And then I looked into it, and sure enough.
Because there is 75 levels, and there's 21 or 22 different exits, right?
Something like that. And I know they mark them on the maps too. Like red has 2 exits, yellow has 1.
Yeah.
But I remember getting 96 exits. I had the 96 stars, and I remember going, what the fuck? I can't find these other 4. And Dad and I went to, I think, B. Dalton or Borders or one of those bookstores that doesn't exist anymore, and started perusing through a guide, and sure enough, 90s. I was so disappointed. I've been trying to find all 100 for so long on this game. There's nothing. I mean, it was like a playground rumor. Like, yeah, you gotta. There's a secret level above the top secret level, and it takes you to that island.
Oh,
so you
man.
do all this.
I remember that. That.
There's YouTube videos on those.
They ROM hack it.
I remember, yeah, and he posted this video, and he's like, the secret level above top secret place, and I was like, oh shit, yeah, let's check it out. And then he's like, oh, that's a psych. It's actually in the Green Block Palace, but it was him hacking it and putting like this fake Nazi propaganda level because he said that Miyamoto was a secret Nazi sympathizer. So everything was swastikas, and he's like, yeah, this is real. God. And back then, they wanted to win World War II and all this shit.
Oh my God. Like, have you ever seen like the Nintendo presentations that Miyamoto does? He's like the happiest guy in the world. Like, he's just running around. Awesome. Yeah, he's just such a lovable guy.
I think he's just happy. He's like, I get to play video games for the rest of my life, and I'm 90, even when I'm 90 years old and dying.
Yeah, but that's the guy. That's the Nazi sympathizer. I don't know. And that just cracks me up. So, yeah, I downloaded a while back. I downloaded a thing of Lunar Magic so I could edit 4 more exits into the game just to like feel. I never finished it, but you have no idea how much that bugs me about this game. So. All right, last two tidbits, and then I actually want to get into things we like about the game, some of the things they changed, new things they introduced. Sold about 20 million, which is nothing to scoff at. I figured that out. About 42% of the Super Nintendos out there had this game. Either they purchased it on the side when they weren't a pack-in, or it came with a pack-in. That's pretty incredible when you think about it. Like, everyone had this game.
Yeah, so technically, then they didn't really make money if it was with the console, unless they upped the charge for that console.
Well, I mean, it sold the console. That's back when pack-ins were common.
Very true. I think every console except for my parents, when they got the PlayStation, everything had its own game with it.
Yeah, PlayStation was kind of funny because they released it super cheap, but it's like, oh, you got to buy a memory card, and you got to buy a game, and you got to, I mean, when it's all said and done, you probably paid a lot more than you thought on a PlayStation.
Yeah, and CD games were expensive back then. At the same cost now, back then, which is with the markup, you're probably looking at $10, $15 extra in a sense.
Yeah,
so,
which hurt the 64 because cartridges were even more expensive during the CD era, which is just crazy when you think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the manufacturing costs would have gone down. I remember paying, or, having to earn like $60 for Zelda, I think, $50-$60 back then.
That's a lot of Moolah back then, too.
I don't want to know. I mean, Matt, do you know how much this thing was when it came off the shelf? The Super Nintendo?
Super Nintendo? No, I don't. I should have had that. I know I looked up what Street Fighter 2 cost when it was released. It was something like $110 when you figured out like in today's money. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
All right. I'm one down. I'm going to open another one. Let's get into the game.
There you go.
So, have you guys read the story? Do you guys know the backstory?
You mean the actual story of the game?
Yeah. No,
what is it? I never really paid attention.
I've got my handy manual. I'm going to read some to you, right? Here you go. After saving the Mushroom Kingdom from Bowser and the rest of the Koopas in Super Mario 3, Mario and Luigi needed to recuperate from their adventures. Together they agreed the best place to vacation was a magical place called Dinosaur Land. So literally the game is all about a vacation.
To Jurassic Park.
Yeah, literally. And they're like, oh, Mario and Luigi are reclining on the beach, taking a nap. And then Toadstool disappears. That's back before she was Peach. Seized by evil forces, which I like. That's pretty good. Nice touch. And suddenly, after she sees, the second she's gone, an egg hatches and out pops a dinosaur named Yoshi, who tells Mario and Luigi the sad tale of how his dinosaur pals were sealed in eggs by a group of monstrous turtles. Now think of that. Okay, we're going to pause right there for a second. Okay, Yoshi jumps out of the egg and is telling Mario and Luigi all the sad, horrific tales about all his and his brethren getting hatched in eggs. And then for the rest of the game, you ride him around, punch him in the head and make him eat things, and then drop him off in cliffs to save yourself. So don't fucking help Mario. Whatever you do, don't say. All right, here we go. Ready? Monstrous turtles! Exclaimed Luigi. That's kind of like a holy crap, Batman. Bowser and his bunch have returned. Mario slowly nodded his head in agreement, and along with Luigi and Yoshi, set off across Dinosaur Land to find the princess and free Yoshi's friends. I'm not going to read the rest, but yeah, the whole story is they're on vacation.
Well, that's when everything goes haywire. I mean, those make the best adventure stories.
It's Jurassic Park, right? They're on an adventure, and then all of a sudden the dinosaurs get out.
It starts you off with a nice, warm, happy feeling, and then gut punches you.
Yeah. Yeah, and what I always thought when you start off, because you start off and it looks like you're climbing up into Yoshi's Island, the first world. And I always thought, I think it's a fence. There's a bunch of little pointy sprites in the bottom. I always thought they were surfboards. So I literally thought they were just chilling out on the beach with all their surfboards, like Mario and Luigi were surfing, and then that's when she got kidnapped.
Yoshi's hut.
Right below the hut. Because when you're 6, you make up all kinds of stupid fucking stories. I'm looking at my manual right now. It's beat to hell. I don't know how many times I traced Mario in this. Like, I would like to know how many hours I spent tracing Mario out of this manual.
He's such a nerd.
I was a nerd. I don't know how I had any friends.
Well, you probably didn't. You probably were all imaginary.
That's why you played so many games. You had no friends. So, right off the bat, one of the things that I love that Super Mario World does is how they handle the first world. So you come up and you run into Yoshi's hut. So the first thing you think of doing is going into Yoshi's hut and you read the text box, da-da-da-da. So then you have the option of you're going to go left, which you never do in games, to the first level, or you can go right to the second level. Well, when you get to the second level, why would I start on 2? I need to start on 1, right? So Yoshi's Island 1-1. You start off immediately, a Koopa out of its shell, you don't even know what the hell it is at this point, comes flying down a sloped surface at you, and then there's a giant bullet bill. Like, you've never seen any of that shit in any Mario game up to this point. You go through the level, you're jumping on dinosaurs that compress, you have football players that are running after you, you're shooting out of pipes, you're doing spin jumps on block. The first level, they pull out all the stops like, oh, this is a new Mario game. Throw it all in the first level. Which is pretty cool, because if you go to the second level, it's more of your standard, like, okay, we're going to have, you're going to run, you're going to jump on Koopas, which are familiar. They give you Yoshi in the second level. I don't know. I think that's brilliant. I don't know if you guys got the same kind of, maybe it's the Shawshank Redemption thing where you only think it's brilliant when you watch it the 50th time. And you're like, oh my God, they actually did this. So, John, why don't you take over? Tell me some things that you thought were new and exciting in Mario World versus 3. I think we can't talk about Mario World without talking about Mario 3 in some cases.
Yeah. So I did not get 3 until after I got Mario World, so my perception's a little skewed on that, and I don't think I played it until after I played Mario World. Going back between the two now, I would say the world itself was easier. I mean, with Mario 3, you had the overworld, but you still had, like, the little challenges like the Hammer Bros and the little mushroom, places where you could do the cards. And this one was a lot more convenient. And as a kid, when you're getting up there, it's easy to sneak back to top secret place, even though you hate it.
You asshole.
I agree with going left was weird at first, but I definitely liked it. It was cool transversing, and you had the overall scope still, which was nicer than Mario 3, which was just the screen, and you just moved over a screen. And they did some nice colors, but, the world itself, like, I remember pausing on the bridge with the fish, and you just make that annoying noise as you're perusing the whole map. Yep. And I would see how long I could go until I pissed off my mom.
So we'll get to this later, but the dumb shit that you do in Mario World that you remember it too, and you're playing through it, you're going to remember forever going back and forth, having that fish go bloop, bloop, bloop. I've got some dumb things that I did with this game too, but I thought the overworld was kind of cool. Like Mario 3, you had your fire world, you had your ice world, you had your grass world. Mario World was more of a cohesive world, maybe is the way to phrase it. You didn't really have the transitions like, oh, I'm going into a lava world, oh, I'm going into the pipe world. Like, it's all one giant world, which I think was a big departure.
Yeah, it was kind of like what they continue to do going forward, too.
Yeah, they really only undid it with like the new Mario Brother games. That was kind of where they stopped. I don't know. I guess it's a stretch, but I think that's when they really kind of went back to that Mario 3 style. Yeah, I think to jump into another area that I think they simplified things with the power-ups. So Mario 3 was all suit-based, and you did some crazy shit with the suits. But I think Mario World, they boiled everything down into, this is a fire flower, this is going to have you attack, this is a cape, this is going to have you platform. I mean, the cape can attack too, but
I did prefer the cape. I don't know about you guys. Yeah.
Same.
The cape is awesome. I love the cape. I don't know if any Mario power-up gives you as much flexibility as the cape. I mean, can you think of any?
No, I mean, it's the most versatile because not only did it let you fly and also kind of glide, but also give you the ability to, in a sense, also float through the whole level. Or you could also do a super smash where you can knock everything off that screen at that time.
Oh, if you do the cape down? Yeah.
Yep.
I liked it when you could get off, when you're running and you jump, and it allows you to like soften your landing because you go slower. That made things a lot easier, especially as a kid too. Yeah.
I was reading online, like a lot of people had trouble with the cape. Like they had trouble doing the whole like pull, go forward, pull back, and do the whoop thing, and you kind of the whole level. Did you guys ever have a problem with it? I always thought the cape, I mean, I'm not a cape master. I didn't fly through, a gauntlet of fireballs, but I didn't find the cape that hard.
No, didn't have it that hard at all either. I thought it was actually for me, I thought it was pretty easy.
The other thing I liked about the cape versus the raccoon tail The raccoon tail, when you hit the button, you kind of twirled really slow. The cape, you could just sit there and mash that thing and you'd spin. So if someone's throwing a projectile, like one of the chucks throwing the baseballs at you, I mean, you could sit there and wipe out those balls all day and not worry about it.
Yep.
It was an awesome power.
Much like a drunk girl in college.
You could just sit there and pound on that all day.
Now, guys, stop it.
I'm saucy with my red wine.
It looks like between 50, I think it was $60 for the game. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
60.
Yeah, which equates to like $180 now. I think.
Well,
Jeez,
we'll find out. I looked it up. 110. 110. That's why I said in the last time when we did our intro that our parents, like, they funded this. I mean, can you imagine right now, Nick, your kid comes up and like, yeah, I want you to pay $110 for Mario. Then fuck you, get a job.
So I had to work for my games too. Like I think you said, John, like you did work hard or you did something right. You had to do something to pretty much earn the game. That's how I got my games.
I had a point chart. Yeah, man. I mean, I lived out in the country. We had a big garden, and there was tasks, and they had a point system. And I used to wake up at the butt crack of dawn on Saturday and go weed the garden and get a head start. And I remember my parents had to like adjust the chart because I beat the system when I was like 8.
You amassed a $10,000 wealth at the age of 6.
Yeah.
Well, so I didn't really get into those systems also until late. We had them in the like early 90s, but really didn't start playing any of the games until later 90s. At that point, you had a PlayStation and N64, pretty much not too far around that time, that came out. And at that point, it was like, okay, since the new technology came out, the old technology was actually considered to the wayside. So you can find a lot of old mom-pop game shops that had the old games, plus the new games, but had the old games for like dirt cheap. So my dad and my brother would buy like a box full of old NES games and come home with like, 6-7 games, and we paid like maybe like $20 for each.
Yeah, that's where I get all my regrets from now, is not doing that. Yeah, my parent, I didn't have a point system. I got games birthday and Christmas, and beyond that, It's like, don't be a dick all week and you can rent one. And that's the best you're going to get out of us.
Yeah.
But yeah, at $110, I understand completely. So, all right, I guess moving on. So we've gone over the cape. I think we've gone over Yoshi, our disposable friend. Comes in different colors.
Well, so yeah, he came in different colors, but I mean, what was your favorite Yoshi then?
Blue. All day.
Yeah, blue.
Blue made it so easy, man.
I think that's everyone's. I mean, yellow wasn't too bad.
The red was my least favorite because the red, when you'd go and you'd eat the blue shell, he'd either swallow it, or when you had to spit it out, you'd lose your blue shell and you'd stop eating because he'd spit out a flame and you'd not be able to fly. So I fucking hated the red one.
So you know what's kind of funny? Think about this now. You hated the red and the red Yoshi, right?
Yep.
What was a disposable character on every Star Trek?
The red suits. Yeah.
The red suits.
Yeah, that's the one you got to throw in the pit first.
Yeah.
No, I like to think that there's just below the Mario world, there's just this huge swath of just dead green dinosaurs. Just everyone's running through and it's just like, yep, here's another one. Here's another one. Here's another one.
It's like the Mortal Kombat
have
pits.
You seen that?
What's that?
Have you seen the YouTube?
It's like the Mortal Kombat pits, when you fatality somebody.
There's a YouTube, the guy did a YouTube of like what happens when Mario falls down those like halls and what really happens. You guys gotta watch it. YouTube search Mario falls down.
Was that a dork?
You'll find a lot.
Dorkly did that.
Dorkly does some great stuff.
They're funny, yeah.
And you see like all these zombie Mario, zombie Luigi's like coming after him.
All right, so Yoshi, right? We think we're good with Yoshi?
Yeah, he was a good character. It was a good add-on.
Yeah. The cape. I have one more thing I want to comment on the cape before we move on. I thought it was cool that you don't get the cape until the second world. It's kind of like the game's telling you can't handle this. You just can't handle this thing. You're gonna fly into shit. You're gonna fall down a hole. You're not ready for the cape. We'll give you the cape when we think you know what you're doing. What else? What else is new? What else you guys like?
I love Star Road. That's one of my favorite.
Yeah.
All those levels, even though they're a pain in the ass, a lot of them, they were my favorite.
Yeah, it's really cool how they did Star Road too, because you can beat the game in 12 levels, which is pretty crazy when you think about it. You know, the game setup, you can beat it whenever you want. You can get all 96, or you can run through Star Road and beat it as fast as possible. And the levels are kind of neat too, where you have like a right way and a wrong way to beat all of them.
Yeah, it opened up a whole new things. Star World was good. I wasn't a fan of the second part though. When they you start naming them like the 90s or 80s, like you can tell this game was started in the 80s because some of the terms are still using, like bodacious or excellent or tubular.
Yeah, I would love to have been the localizer on this, because I can just imagine like over in Japan, I don't know what the levels are, but it'd be like, you know, the outer worldly god fist of the Dragon Emperor being level 1, and we get tubular. You know,
yeah, they.
That's like the localization too. Like
some of those levels too in Star World really just rape you over your lives pretty quickly.
Tubular is the one that, and we're gonna revisit this later, I promise. But out of all the special world ones, Tubular, the one where you jump on the springs and the pipes and you get the balloon and you got to get the guys.
That is
I died so many times on that level.
I had to end up YouTubing just to see like, okay, what am I doing wrong? Because I'm like, where's that other freaking balloon? And come to find out, I wasn't too far off. I was literally dying within the last like inches of completing the level.
Oh man!
Like legit, like I was probably floating maybe another like quarter screen, and I would see the actual level. I'm like, really? I'm that close? I'm dying because it's actually a very short level.
Yeah, it's not long.
It's not long at all. But if you don't do it right, because initially I'm like, okay. At this, I'm going to try to float the whole thing. You cannot float that thing. I tried twice. Actually, I tried like 30 times trying to float the whole thing. You can't.
That's probably the hardest level in the game.
You got to collect more balloons as you go. So you have to like fly through all the baseballs they throw at you.
Yeah. Like, I can fly it.
I think it is, but there's an easy cheat on this that I discovered recently. I was dumbfounded. I Googled it. I'm like, this isn't right. What is wrong with my game? So, remember I was telling you guys I bought new pads for my Super Nintendo controllers?
Yeah.
The problem with the pads, they're not as good as the original. OEM is always better than a replacement. And it makes contacts in weird ways where I got the balloon, and if I held down and then held the left direction on it, Mario would shoot right across. I'll videotape it. It's crazy. You can beat the level in like 5 seconds. The first couple times I did it, I kept flinging myself into the chucks. I'm like, holy shit, I can't beat this level, because every time I hit the pad, I'm just gonna get flung into baseballs. And sure enough, eventually I timed it right, and literally you just shoot through the level. It's like poof, right, and 5 seconds.
I'll record my thing where I flow through the last part, and you record yours.
Yeah. There's another, the level in the special world where I can't remember the name. Outrageous, maybe, I think is the one. It's the ice level where everything is, they have like kind of like the cup shapes.
Yeah. That one's a little bit pain in the butt.
Oh, that level sucked.
That's pain. That's irritating. That was the other one where I was dying like inches from the ending or something like that. And it's for stupid things too. It's like, oh, this turtle dropped on you or something like that. Like, son of a bitch.
So,
I don't like it.
You guys obviously did all 96, so you got through all the special levels. What did you think when you came out on the other side and all the colors had changed and all the Koopas? I hate it.
Why did it do that? Did you ever see an explanation or find an explanation why they did that?
No, I just think it's something different to give you. I don't know. I think they say it's fall or autumn is what they call it, but I hate it. It makes the game ugly. I don't mind that they changed all the people, the Mario heads, and the bullet bills become the Pidgeots. They call them Pidgeots, like in Pokemon. I don't know. I don't like that.
Yeah. I was like, because I forgot about that. I completely forgot about how they did that.
Yeah, so it's all 80s slang. So Tubular, you have Mondo, Way Cool. I think Way Cool is the one that has the ice one, I think. Nope, no, it's not. The Way Cool is the one where you're on the little lifts and you fly through the little you hold on to the rope and you go through the guys, the little black guys that spin around the circles.
Oh, that was a quick, easy level.
Yeah, that one wasn't too bad.
So if we're talking about easy levels, what was your favorite Koopa kid?
To fight or just in general that you think they're cool?
In general and to fight.
Wendy.
Lemmy. You love Wendy.
Well, Lemmy was kind of hard on the tilty raft, right?
No, I think Lemmy's in one of the pipes.
Iggy was the one. Iggy was
a pain. Iggy
and Larry.
The very last one.
Yeah,
right?
Iggy's the first one, I think, and Larry is the last one, I think.
Yeah.
I like Lemmy just because if you look at the pictures of him, he's got the crossed eyes and the crazy hair. And he just looks. They're all like punk. They all have like punk hairdos.
The pipe level ones were the easiest ones to beat.
Yeah, Wendy was in a pipe, and I can't remember. Yeah, it'd be Lemmy. Lemmy was the other guy in the pipe.
Yeah.
The pipe ones were the easy kids to beat. The ones that were on a friggin' floating rock where it tilted up and down depending on how far you're on. That one was a pain in the ass because if you didn't time it right, you could end up going down with a kid after you're beating them.
Oh, yeah.
Did you guys ever look where they got their names?
It's all after composers, right?
Yeah, so Iggy Koopa's Iggy Pop.
Yeah.
Lemmy, there were some things that came out recently that kind of cast some doubt on it from the way I read it, but Lemmy is Lemmy Kilmister from Motorhead.
Yeah.
Ludwig von is Beethoven. Roy Koopa, because he's got the glasses, is Roy Orbison.
No shit.
Wendy O. Koopa, I had to look this one up. I don't listen to punk. It's Wendy O. Williams. Was part of a punk band. Yeah, I'm not a punk guy. Larry, ready for this? Larry is not named after anyone. The guy just thought he looked like a Larry. That's the explanation. He looked like a Larry.
I thought you were going to say Larry Bird.
The last one, no, Morton Cooper Jr. Morton was named after Morton Downey Jr. I think was a talk show host because he had a big mouth.
Huh.
Morton was that one that looked like a actual turtle in a sense, wasn't he?
Well, they all look turtle. They
Morton
all had
was
shells.
Second world?
Yeah, but this one really looked like he had a round head, like he was the fat, chubby one.
Yeah, Morton. Morton's the one with the bald head.
Yeah.
Him and Roy. But they had other things in the game too that they named after, like the Resners, the guys in the fortresses that float around, that spin around.
The Triceratops.
Trent Reznor, yeah, the Triceratops.
So. Yeah.
They were hard. If you didn't run in right off the bat and knock them off the ledges, as the things went away, you'd have no room to stand, and it was kind of a pain to hit them when you were on the ledges.
Yeah, those were harder than some of the actual bosses, man.
Well, the way I did it was I ran quickly to it.
Yeah. Yep.
And then I just knocked off the first three. Then I took out the other two by sitting on one of the things.
Yep. I
think what helped on that one is you have to if you have the cape.
Yeah, because you can float. You can kind of drift down. You don't fall in the lava as easy. Yeah. I wish I had taken notes on this when I was taking notes. There's a couple other ones that have the musical thing. That musical thing carries through a lot of the Marios. So I'd have loved to have been the guy that did the translation when they brought it over. Get to use all the 90s lingo, get to name all the Koopas. Ghost houses. Those were new in this one. We had the fortresses, which had the Resners in them in this game, but fortresses were in Mario 3. What'd you guys think of the ghost houses?
Easy at first, difficult in the end.
Yeah, I think that was both right. Well, it depends. I think the hardest ghost level and the only ghost house I really hated was the one where it's actually a haunted ship.
Yes.
Because that one was a pain because, one, you can't move too well when you're actually floating. And swimming, the thing is with swimming with this Mario, because in Mario 3 you had a suit, and I felt you could swim a little bit faster, and you also had a little bit more control. This one I feel like he was a lot more sluggish in the water.
So I'm gonna jump in on something stupid unrelated, but you reminded me. One of my favorite memories was playing Mario 3. I don't think Justin knew what he was supposed to do. So he starts off on a level, picks the frog suit. It's a land level. Comes in like he's going to own the thing, goes, all right, guys, frog suit, game over. Immediately jumps in a pit. I don't know why I remember that. I laugh my ass off all the time about that.
That is a staple.
Nikki and I will run
quote.
around. We'll sit there and when someone does something like, it's like, oh, frog suit, game over. So yeah, no, you can't swim in the things. And the booze get in the way on the ghost ship too.
They're tricky.
That's kind of a cool throwback to Mario 3.
Have you noticed the one thing I wish they did brought in? I wish they kind of had it so you could start a level with star power.
Oh, kind of like a
3, where you could actually have something in the can, as it were, but you can't have that as a power up in the can. The only ones you can have power up in the can were literally feather, fire flower, and mushroom.
Yeah, that would have been a nice touch.
Because I would have used that because there's some levels where like, oh, it'd be good just to have that little boost to get through, or there's just like a part where like, you know what, I just had a bitch of time getting through this. I just want to coast with this remaining on a level with the star power.
Yeah, I wish, if I lived in an alternate universe, I wish there was some game that combined Mario 3 and Mario World in some way. Like all the things that I loved about Mario 3 and all the things, they're kind of like bookends. Like Mario 3 is one game designed one way, and then Mario World is a game that's almost designed completely opposite. They're both amazing games, but there's a different mentality in both. I wish there was some game that just combined it.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I wish there was a couple more power-ups. I think that's one thing I loved about 3, and I think 3 edges out Super Mario World for me, is I did like all the different type of power-ups there were, because it's kind of cool. Like, it's like, oh, I have Tookie Suit where I could, turn myself into invulnerable stone statue for X amount of time, or the frog to help me swim through some of these water levels a little bit quicker. Or, you just had those couple extra little suits, or the hammer suit. I used to love the hammer suit in Mario 3.
Yeah.
I kind of wish they brought that back into some of the games. And they kind of do. I mean, after, I think, Mario World, with the one for the N64, don't they bring back they have a couple extra power-ups, and same with the Mario Galaxy and the Mario Odysseys?
Yeah, the Galaxy ones and the new Mario Brothers ones brought them back. Like Galaxy, you get, I can't remember which one. I get 1 and 2 mixed up. And I just was playing them, but there's like a ghost suit, there's a spring suit, there's the bee suit, and then the new ones, there's like the penguin, and then there's the propeller head one. So they brought them back.
Yeah, Mario 3 did have the best suits.
So the Mario 3 Mario World debate is kind of like my Star Fox thing, where I know Star Fox 64 is the better game, but the original Star Fox has just so much style that I rate it much higher. I know Mario World is the better game. Like technically, you get more game for more bang for your buck. It's a longer game. You can save. It is a technical achievement. Every level is teaching you something and challenging you in a unique way. Like Mario World is brilliant, but Mario 3 has just so much style to it. I mean, the way they do the worlds, the power ups. I don't know. I love Mario 3 for its style alone.
I mean, let's be honest. Both, I think, in memory and in gameplay still hold up. Like, of all the games I've played, retro games, I'll say for those games being as old as they are, both Mario 3 and Super Mario World hold up in gameplay. And I'm putting them against even games that we play now. Like other side scrolls. I'd put them up against, their predecessors.
Yeah, I'm going to push on that. Why do you think that? I agree, but I'm curious to get your take.
I mean, I think they're still challenging. I think that's one thing that every game has. It's not just a pure nostalgia fact, because we have other side-scrollers, and for those side-scrollers, they have enough puzzles still to kind of challenge your mind, and you're like, okay, how can I tackle this? I mean, look, I blew your mind for going outside a box and floating across the end of the level. You thought that was not even possible, but clearly it's possible.
I'm going to hold judgment until I see the video.
But either way, it's one of those things is where it holds up because it's entertaining still. It has good gameplay still. Controls are actually pretty rock solid. Sound is really good for it. So, I mean, I'd put it against a lot of the side-scrollers now that you play.
I think the one thing, and this I think goes back to my Shawshank Redemption point, which I'm just going to keep hammering. But everything, and you don't notice it because it's so prevalent. You've always grown up with these games. They're just there. It's just a part of you. You don't appreciate the small things in it. Every level is brilliantly designed. There's nothing that's just random, like, hey, we're going to have you do this. Like, everything is deliberate in what they've chosen to put. The whole 1-1 Yoshi thing, you're going to get the cape in the second world. Like, everything this game does, it ramps up the challenge perfectly. It doesn't, I don't know. It just, everything in this game is deliberate, which is amazing when you
There's a reason behind everything. Everything. Like,
I will argue that.
Okay.
How so?
Yeah, all right.
The woods, what is it called? The Lost Woods? No.
Forest of Illusion.
Forest of Illusion. There's one where you are on 2 flying platforms. Right? Do you remember that one? It's like before the little castle.
Yep.
Yeah. Why? You're in a forest. Why are you on 2 floating platforms?
You're up in the trees.
That one was dumb. I liked everything else. That one was dumb.
I explained it, and he says it's dumb.
This game is going to get a 75 on Metacritic from John alone. He's going to go there like, nope, fucking floating platforms in a forest shouldn't happen. Nope. Game gets a 60.
Nope. We're not an Avatar, folks. You're not flying.
Oh my god. So is that your only bone of contention with this game?
And that level wasn't even hard. Like, I'm terrible at video games, so this game has dicked me over 7 ways from Sunday. But I beat that level all the time with no problem. I just don't know. I'm like, why is this one here? I don't get it.
I'm going to play it tonight, and I'm going to send you a video, John.
All the others are still in the forest. I mean, granted, there's a water world that you're going to deal with in almost every level, I think. There's even like the water level on the stupid cliff or the mountain ridge where you're just floating on dolphins the whole time. But yeah, that one ticked me.
So did you guys know that in the jumping around, did you guys know in the Japanese version of this game, if you rode Yoshi in the dolphin levels, Yoshi can eat the dolphins? Yeah, in the US one, they took it out. Like, I don't know if they thought we were going to get all upset that Mario is riding around a dinosaur eating dolphins.
Well, you remember, we had the whole thing where dolphins and nets, and because the Chinese didn't care, or the Japanese didn't care at the point, back in the time. I'm pretty sure that was like a big bone of contention. So they probably didn't care, like, oh, you're eating dolphins. They're like, okay, whatever. But we had that big thing where we had, like, we're sending out boats against these fisheries that were taking in both fish and dolphins, so they didn't really care. And we were all, hey, no, not the dolphins.
Yeah, so
I think that's why.
I think to those people, I would say we should send them to Jurassic Park and have them tell a raptor, do not eat the dolphins. I read somewhere that they were worried that in the us stupid Americans would eat all the platforms that we needed to stand on. But I think you've got something with the no dolphins in our tuna kind of thing.
I mean, I'm putting a political spin on it that we were at the time where we're like, oh, wait, you're eating dolphins? How can you do that? I would think that'd be the reason of the bone of contention. I mean, they probably explained it away, obviously, because that's what we do.
So you fucked us. So the one thing I wanted to avoid, and it was going to hurt me. I was so worried about doing the Mortal Kombat thing because I want to keep politics out of this as much as possible. We threw it away. First official episode on dolphins.
Tipper Gore is going to come sanction us.
Uh-oh.
Although, side note on this whole fish thing, one of these guys that developed this game must have gotten fucked over by a pufferfish, because that thing is mean and is a complete dick in every level that it's in. I think one of these guys had a bad time eating a pufferfish.
I think he just needs a poop. It just looks like he's always constipated. Pufferfish always looks like it's constipated.
Just this fish that's just bunged up, floating around, mad at the world, like, I'm going to kill somebody, I got to shit.
He's got those serious lips going too, man. I don't know what those are about.
He needs a lover.
Squeeze it. He's straight push out. He's pursing his lips because he's pushing.
So there's a Mario comic out there, and I want to say one of the episodes in the Mario comic, I don't know why I remember this, Mario's in the frog suit, and one of those like giant mouth fish falls in love with him, and the whole thing is like he's trying to escape this fish. That's what's happening. It's just that fish has to take a shit and is chasing down Mario. Just you screwed me over with a frog suit. Now I'm coming to get you. What else we got?
Life lesson: eat more fiber, everybody.
So I find rants are fun. So I think we all agree this game is flawless. It is a masterpiece. But there's always shit that pisses you off in it. And John hates the pufferfish. Nick, what pisses you off in this game?
Well, and I don't know if it's because I'm playing it from different views too. So I think that's one thing we have to bring up is from playing it as a kid and like a 8 to 9 year old kid to playing it as now a 32-year-old man. Logic pops in. Like, as a kid, I'm like, oh, okay, I can understand that. I'd throw a temp tantrum, throw the controller off to the side, and walk away, and then come back and ask a friend how they beat it, and I'm like, okay, I'll do it that way. As a man, I'm like, wait, what? How? Why does this end? Why do I have to, what is it? There's that one castle, and I think it's almost the most pointless thing in the world, where you have to stay on a friggin' traveling path through the castle.
Oh.
That's the most pointless.
Either 5 or 7.
It's the most pointless part. I'm like, this has no reason to make it this long because it's a very short castle. Like that's the longest part, but you have to go through all these things. I'm like, this is pointless. And I always, no matter what, because I get so bored and I fidget, I'd fall off. And it's probably the easiest level. Let's be honest. It really is. All you have to do is stay on the damn thing. As long as you stay on the thing, you'll be good. And I was always trying it. So I played that castle like 10 million times. I don't know. I think I played it like it took me 2 nights to finally beat it. And I'm sure because I was trying to beat it. For one, I wanted to make sure I had a feather, and before I get to the end, and 2, I was like, okay, come on. And I kept on trying to actually float the whole thing. You can't float it.
So what you're telling me to jump in? I want to make sure I'm imagining this correctly. So it's either Castle 5 or Castle 7. You, in your process, did the level, got bored, fell off the ledge, walked all the way back to Top Secret, got a feather, got your Yoshi, got all that shit, walked all the way back, got bored again, fell off, and just kept walking back and forth from Top Secret to the castle.
I never used Top Secret after I got off of through that mountain, when you go through the mountain. I never used Top Secret.
Yeah, Matt, what is the allowable cutoff for Top Secret?
Top Secret, maybe 3rd level in Vanilla Dome. Maybe.
Damn.
Maybe. I mean, it's going to piss me off, but I'm going to allow it.
You know what we're going to do, Matt?
But if you're
going to do, you're going to bring your Super Mario World. We'll hitch up there, and I'm going to play. We'll play Mario and Luigi, and I'm going to hit every time I fall low or I need a feather. I'm going to go straight to the secret level for you.
Yeah, why don't you invite Brown to not hold the Y button the whole fucking game, and we can spend a whole week playing Mario World.
Oh, man. No, so my go-to level, if I needed a feather and I was that far down, if I was on the dinosaur level, I would go straight to if you go to the water level in the forest, if you got all the buttons, just hit that.
Start and
select that. Yep. So that's what I did today. If I was in Koopa Land or whatever, I would go into the star level. One of the star levels, I think you could go in and you could start for a couple of levels and a couple of seconds in, and you had if you hit I just hit the mushroom and grow up. Then if you hit the mushroom again or hit the block again, it'd be a feather. I do it that way. So I mentally remembered, okay, what gives me the feathers, which was closest to each world or each island.
So we're in the same world where I get pissed off. What pisses me off about this game, Forest of Illusion, where let's say you play the game and you're going through, and I'm a completionist, unfortunately. You get to Forest of Illusion, you think you've beaten, and I think it's the level that's right next to the ghost house or the ghost house. There's one where you beat it the wrong way and it goes one direction, you beat it again. If you miss that, or in Star World, if you miss the fact that you've beaten things the wrong way and the right way, you're going to spend a lot of time going through this game going, oh shit, what level didn't I beat the wrong way? So I need to go back and beat it the wrong way. You have no idea how much time. When I play the Mario World game, it's almost systematic at this point. It's like, I cannot deviate from this plan, or I'm going to miss beating a level the wrong way, and I'm going to get 95 stars, and I'm going to be really
you want to know how many
pissed.
stars I actually got when I beat the game? 92.
Oh, God.
I can't find those 4. I don't know where those 4 are. I went through each one and tried to beat. I beat them each one again and again, like each way, and I can't get the 96 in now.
Yeah. So when I go through this game, I'll start Yoshi's Island. I'll beat that. I'll clear everything in that, and then I'll go to the Donut Plains and I'll clear everything in that. But I won't go to the Star World, and I'll keep beating the whole game. I'll go through and I'll beat all of Vanilla Dome, both the secrets at the top. I'll do all the bridges. I'll go to Forest Illusion. I'll beat everything the wrong way, then the right way. I will not touch Star World until I get to like World 7 or World 7, the one in the Valley of Bowser. Then I'll go to Star World and I'll beat everything the wrong way so it sends me back, and then the right way so it sends me forward every time I play this game, because I'm so afraid of, I'm sitting down, I'm not going to get 96 stars.
Your OCD just kicks right in hardcore, doesn't it?
Oh, it does. It's just like when you get that 95 stars, it's like you failed. You fucking failed. Like this, you didn't do it. So this time when I played through, I did something different. I started in Star World, which I've never done. I started in the Star World, and then I went back and beat everything else, which I guess didn't affect things all that much, except for I went through Special World, so I had to play in the shitty fall colors the whole game. That was not a bright decision.
Yeah, I didn't complete the Star World at the very end, till the end. So I did Star Road first, completed that all the way through completely. Then after I did that, I then finished up. So I finished Yoshi's Island, then the Plains, then I did a Star. And completed the Star, then went through the Vanilla Dome, and completed the rest of the game. Until I had just 2 castles left. Well, I thought were just 2 castles left. So I thought I just had to beat Bowser, and the actual, not the 7th castle, but the actual, the small castle with Razor in it. And so I'm like, okay, well, I'll finish the Star World and finish that through, then beat the game. And when I beat the game, I only had 92, and I went back to, like I said, everything, and I couldn't find it. Just like, whatever, I technically beat the game. I went through everything, I beat it. After this, I'm not playing this again.
John, do you have any special ways you play this, or?
Closely similar to yours, Matt. I typically go through until I get stuck on one of the regular levels, and then I'll go back and I'll do some Star Road stuff. But I don't touch the special worlds at all until I beat Bowser's Castle.
John, anything else you want to say before we get into the turbo button?
Turbo button.
Oh, I love this game. This was my first vested game as a child. We had the Ataris, but I was too little. This is my first console. This is my first game, so it is near and dear to my heart. It's top 3 all time. But I believe that my top 3 are all Super Nintendo games. So
this is definitely my top 10.
Nick?
It's my top 10. But not because it was a game I was vested in, but because I shared this game. I actually never played this game by myself. I always played with a friend or a family member. So it had a lot of more sentimental value than anything, because I had a chance to play it with my friends. We'd share, because this game also gives you the ability to share lives too. So I thought it was cool. It was more sentimental. I love it because it's in my top 10 because family and friends that I played with.
Yeah, I said this earlier and I'll say it again. I love playing it through it for this podcast to look at the levels, look at how they did things, and realize, holy shit, everything that you touch is deliberate. That is amazing. I mean, this game is incredible. I can't wait for Charlotte to get old enough. This will probably be the first game that we play together, to be honest with you. Anyone can pick up this game, with the exception of my mother. Anyone can pick up this game and learn it, and it's just an incredible game. I don't know. So,
not gonna lie, Pop had to beat Iggy for me when I was 7.
So, okay.
That's a deeply held family secret.
Here's a secret for you before I'm dragging this out. This is the last game that my dad and I played together. Because after that, they got too complicated. He's like, fuck it, I'm out. But I can remember coming home. And granted, I destroyed so much of my dad's shit and didn't think anything of it. And he probably was pissed about a lot of stuff. I'd come home, my dad would be playing Mario. He'd be nervous because he's like gonna lose in a level. He'd be chewing on the controller cable. Nothing pissed me off anymore as a kid. It's like you walk into your room, like, there's your dad, fucking playing your Super Nintendo, which he bought you, chewing on your cable. Like, why are you chewing on my cable? This is my baby. This is all that matters in the world to me. And you're chewing on it.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, it's not right. All right, turbo button.
Turbo button.
Turbo button. Who's the drunker right now? That's what I want to know.
Me.
Johnny, are you the drunker?
He's the drunker.
Yeah, I had like 2 beers and 3 glasses of wine.
But then whatever we do next, you need to get drunker because drunk John's the best John. All right. So here's how this is going to run. Last time it was just me and John. This time it's going to go Nick, then John. John is drunker. John needs more time for his brain to come up with the answer. Unfortunately, we've touched on a couple of these. So some of these are repeats. You guys you're clairvoyant. You knew it's on the paper. All right, 15 questions. Are you both ready?
Ready.
Yeah.
Okay. Fire, flower, or feather?
Feather.
Feather.
Green, red, blue, or yellow Yoshi?
Blue.
Blue.
Chocolate secret, Mario level, or sex act?
Both.
Mario level.
Oh, we're all doing the chocolate secret tonight. All right, anyway. The best Koopaling?
Ludwig.
Iggy.
Ghost house or fortress?
Ghost house.
Ghost house.
To get coins or ignore coins?
First half, get coins. Second half, forget about it.
Ignore. All the way.
Fucking ignore them things. Star Road, attempt at the beginning or end of the game?
Depends on mood.
Variable, but end.
All right, here we go. Top secret level backtracking, legit move or asshole move?
Legit move.
Pre-Castle 4, and then none after.
Okay, fuck you both. Ever use the L and R buttons?
Yes.
No.
Good answer, John. Raccoon or cape?
Cape.
Cape.
Getting Cheese Bridge secret exit, cape or Yoshi?
Done both.
Yoshi.
Really? All right. Tubular or outrageous?
Outrageous.
Outrageous.
Favorite world?
When you first get the cape.
Are we talking level or world?
World.
Donut secret. Or donut planes.
Spin jump or butt stomp?
Butt stomp.
Spin jump.
Good answer, John. Okay, and the last question of the evening. 2-player with someone who doesn't hold down the Y button the whole time, or going to the DMV?
DMV.
DMV.
I'd rather go to hell than that. Jesus fuck. So that about does it. Any closing statements for either of you two?
I'm excited for the next one.
My box
What are we
line
gonna do
fell
next,
on the
boys?
floor.
Damn it, John, you're
It's a
drunk.
sad day.
John, you're drunk. Go home.
I am home.
Oh, wait, you're already home.
All right.
What do you want to do next? What's some lineups? Let's give out some future games we're going to look over.
Well, the first one was an intro. This was a Super Nintendo game. I'd like to do something other than a Super Nintendo for number 2.
How about Altered Beast?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Christ on a cracker. We can. It's your pick. So my dream vision for these podcasts is, each time we do it, someone hosts, and then that host picks the game and guides us through. So you're next, Nick.
Okay, I'll be kind to you guys. We're going to do Sonic the Hedgehog, the first.
The first one.
First one. Just plain old Sonic the Hedgehog, because I have the fondest memories of that one.
I can't wait. I'm excited to hear John's take on the Sega Genesis controller, so this is going to be good.
Oh, you know he fisted that thing up his ass.
Why so mad about it?
You can cut that one out.
All right, well...
Better put it in your intro.
Yeah, all right. We're going to talk offline. It's going to get real dirty, but thank you, everyone, for listening. This has been Spindash. See you next time.
Peace out.
Later, guys.
Thank you.